Welcome to a screen recorded video. Today I'm going to show you how to install Windows 98 2nd edition on Virtual Machine Manager or QEMU/KVM on Linux. Specifically, I'm running Arch Linux. In fact, I can pull up my system specifications. As you can see, I am running Arch Linux on a Ryzen 5 5600X. If you have an older processor, you may not have to do some of the steps in this video, but because my processor is so new, I have to do a couple workarounds. Anyway, to get started, first you're going to want to create a new virtual machine. Select QEMU/KVM and local install media. Next, for media, just put in a Windows 98 2nd edition boot ISO, click forward. Oh, I have to pick an OS. So in the OS box, type in Windows 98 and then pick Windows 98, click forward. For memory, Windows 98 does need a whole lot of RAM, so you can literally just put in 128. For storage, we will be creating a... I thought I deleted that. Okay, well, we'll just delete this. Oh, right, it is deleted. So, create a new storage volume. We'll call it win98.qcal2 of a size of 3 GB because you really don't need anything more. Click Finish. Then scroll down and pick it. Choose Volume. Click Forward. Click Customize Configuration before install and click Finish. First thing you're going to want to do is add another CD-ROM device, and in the description below I will be providing this ISO image, which is a bunch of drivers for KVM or Windows 98 on KVM. So download that and put it in the add another DVD drive, CD drive, whatever to it. Then click Add Hardware, Storage, select Floppy Device, and grab a Windows 98 2nd edition boot floppy from somewhere, and click Finish. As for some of this other stuff, we don't need this, so you can remove that. You can also just remove that. Make sure video is set to QXL. Go to sound, change it from HDA ICH6 to AC97. Click apply. Go to NIC. Make sure E1000 is selected. Then go to boot options. Add the floppy disk to the boot device options and scroll it up to the top. Click apply. And then click begin installation. Then all you have to do is go through the Windows 98 setup like it's any normal Windows 98 setup. So we'll go do that, and we'll be back once we have something to talk about. Alright, so at least on my system, I always get this blue screen. You can literally just press spacebar, it'll say Windows protection error. Then you force reset the virtual machine. It'll come back up, it'll finish setting up hardware. And wait, what? That's not supposed to happen. Wait, what? Okay. That's interesting. We'll see if this actually finishes. I don't think it will. But if it does, that would be pretty cool. Usually, what happens here is stuff starts crashing, at least on my system, because my processor is really new, and oh, never mind. So, if you get stuff that starts crashing like this, the solution is force off your virtual machine, and then switch to the view, and remove your hard disk, but do not delete associated storage files. Then click Add Hardware, set the bus type to SATA, and then just re-add your volume, which is right here. And you click Finish. Then goes Boot Options, grab your SATA disk, put it right under the floppy drive, switch back over, and reboot. You're probably gonna get scan disked because you improperly shut it down. But this workaround is to make Windows 98 play nice on newer processors with its really buggy IDE driver. I don't know why this happens, it just does. But if you switch it to SATA, it'll force it to run. It'll force it to run in MS-DOS compatibility mode, which makes all the problems just go away. As far as I can tell, this is still relatively stable. Anyway, this is going to take a couple minutes to finish, so once it finishes, and we're on the desktop, we'll resume the voiceover. As you can see, we are now on the desktop, with the Windows 98 animation slowly going to the background. Do not show the screen. The first thing you always want to do whenever you install Windows 98, you take the MSN icon and you drag it to the recycling bin, because that just causes internet connectivity problems later. Now, the first thing that we're going to do before we start installing drivers is right-click my computer to open System Properties, then go to Device Manager, and you'll notice we don't have a lot of our devices. The solution, or the problem, is this plug-and-play BIOS device that is not working. To fix it, go to the Driver tab, Update Driver, Next, Display a List, so the second option, click Show All Hardware, then over here, scroll down till you find PCI Bus, and then click Next. It'll say blah blah blah, just click Yes, click Next, Finish, and then restart your computer, or not the computer, the virtual machine. Now it'll start detecting all of the other hardware that it previously was not able to detect because of the broken plug-and-play BIOS object. So just run through all of these, which we'll do right now, and I'll meet you back when we're at the desktop. Alright, we're back on the desktop after going through all of those. And if we go back to Device Manager, we can see all of our many devices. And also, this has to get updated quickly because when I tried to install it, And I tried to install it earlier. The CD driver wasn't loaded, so it couldn't copy what it needed off the Windows 98 CD-ROM, so that was cool. Anyway, so there's a couple of things we can do right off the bat. We can click this yellow exclamation point standard PCI graphics adapter and just disable it because we don't need it. It's not important. I don't even know what it's there for. And we can start installing our drivers. So make sure right off the bat, for sanity, I'm going to enable the show file extensions and show all files button. So this and then this. So apply, okay. Make sure you have your CD-ROM inserted right now. So don't install a video driver now, because if you do, it will always crash on shutdown. Well, it won't crash, but it'll just show garbled graphics and like won't finish shutting down, which causes a lot of like configuration weirdness. So in this video, first thing we're going to install is the PCI Ethernet controller. So right click it, then click reinstall driver, next. Search for a better driver, next. Click specify location, go down to browse, open the KVM CD-ROM and click the network folder, click OK, then click next. It'll find the driver for Intel Pro 1000 MT, and then restart your virtual machine. And if it installed okay, it should bring up a network login prompt. And just to verify that TCP is installed and working, go down to Start, Settings, wait a million years for Control Panel to open. So, oh, yep, it's loading. So, Start, Settings, Control Panel, and then once Control Panel is open, scroll down to Network, make sure TCP is added, and that this is bound to TCP/IP. You just close out all this, and you could quickly run through the setup if you want to connect to your internet. Just open the Internet Connection Wizard, click the bottom option, Unless you're using a proxy server, you can just untick that. You do not click no here, and then click finish. Then you can go to like google.com, and as you can see, internet is now working. Next driver we're going to install is so by default QEMU, if we go back here, has a mouse and a tablet. The tablet is for absolute mouse movement, so instead of like capturing the mouse, it'll let you just drag it in and out. So to install the tablet, you have to go to the CD, open the USB 2 folder, and then run this little NUSB package. Click yes, and then restart your computer once it's installed, so click yes. The tablet is actually on the USB 2 bus, so we have to install USB 2.0 support. That driver package also installs USB thumbstick support, so if you have USB pass-through enabled, which I believe is enabled by default, you should be able to plug in flash drives into this. Anyway, once you're done rebooting, go back to Device Manager, right-click. Wait, what? Why is that disabled? I didn't want to disable that. What? No. No. No, this ruins everything. No. We'll fix that later. That's a problem. Anyway, go to PCI Universal Serial Bus, reinstall driver, next, search. It'll rebuild its driver database and find standard PCI to USB enhanced controller. Then close this. It'll find an unknown device, a USB 2.0 root hub. And then it'll find QEMU USB tablet. Click next, 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 next. And then use your keyboard to press enter, and now you have seamless mouse integration. So next up, we will install the driver For the SATA controller, find the PCI card device that has the hardware version of 0.02. Click reinstall driver. Search for a better driver. Specify a location. Point it at the SATA folder. It will find a 6-port AHCI controller. Unfortunately, something's kind of weird with this controller. It causes a system hang, despite being a AHCI SATA controller. So to get around this, we will be disabling port 0, which will still leave our boot drive booting in MS-DOS compatibility mode, but it's about the best we can do, or best I can do with my very limited knowledge of how QEMU QEMU/KVM works. So get this crap installed, all 5 ports. Click finish, click close, click on or open the properties of AHCI port 0 and click disable in this hardware profile. And then click close and then reboot the virtual machine to get that driver fully installed and working as well as it can anyway. Your display adapter is disabled. Click OK to view the properties for this device so you can enable it. Okay, cool, let us enable it. So, next up, your next driver we will be installing is the audio driver. So open My Computer, open the CD, go to the audio driver, scroll down, and then run setup.exe. Click next. You don't have to worry about this unless you do need DX8 features for some reason, then install DirectX 8, but as you'll find out later, we won't have 2D or 3D video acceleration, so you won't really be playing any games on this. So then click finish. It will automatically reboot your virtual machine. And it should come, yep, there we go. It'll come back up, it will install the Realtek AC97 audio. Unfortunately, it will not work on the first boot. So I'm going to come over here to my OBS settings, turn it up just a little bit, and we will once again reboot the virtual machine. So go to shutdown and then restart. Then log in. It's a little quiet by default, but as you can hear, the audio is now working. You can increase the volume by clicking on the speaker in the lower right corner, sliding the volume slider all the way up, then right click, open volume controls, increase the wave volume, the software synth volume, and you could just mute these two because they're not important. So you could click this, and as you could probably hear, it's a little louder now. The last driver we're going to install is a video driver. So go back to Device Manager, go to Display Adapters, click this, go to Properties, go to Driver, and click Update Driver. Next, search, and for the folder, just click on the video folder. This driver is VBEMP, which is similar technology to Windows XP's video driver. So no acceleration, but you will get higher color depth and higher resolutions. As you can see, the color depth is already increased. There's that iconic startup sound. So let me decrease the volume on that so I don't get drowned out. So now we can just increase the resolution. We'll increase it to something reasonable, like 720p. Do not restart the computer. Yes. Then click yes. Now we have a much larger resolution, and we can make our window bigger to reveal the rest of the taskbar. Now with our wonderful high color system, we can do cool things like set a desktop theme, because I installed all of them. My personal favorite is Windows 98, just without any of the extra crap. So now we get 3D mouse cursors and a stretched Windows logo. But now we can also go download some programs to test, so I'll go do that and I'll be right back. Alright, so as an example, I have downloaded ModPlug Player and a mod file, so we can just drag this in, and as you can probably hear, let me turn up the volume. As you can hear, it's playing audio perfectly fine. So, in terms, if you just need a basic Windows 98 machine in KVM for just ease of virtualization instead of running it in an emulator, that's how you do it. Now, the only problem is you'll no longer be able to properly shut down, because if you go start, shut down, and then click shut down, it always does something like this. It will shut down to a screen full of garbled graphics. And because of this, any configuration change you make will not stick, which is really unfortunate, but it's good enough, in my opinion. Anyway, that's how you install and run Windows 98 on QEMU/KVM. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day.